Classical conditioning and operant conditioning. Let's talk about classical conditioning first. As my classmate has already explained, Ivan Pavlov did some really famous experiments on dogs. He showed dogs some food and rang a bell at the same time. After a while, the dog will associate the bell with the food. They will learn that when they heard the bell, they will get fed. So, we call the food an unconditional stimulus, and we call salivation the unconditional response. However, when we pair an unconditional stimulus, like food, with something was previously neutral, like the sound of a bell, that neutral stimulus becomes a conditioned stimulus. And so, classical conditioning was discovered. We see how this works with animals. But how does it work with humans? In exactly the same way. For example, let's say that one day you go to the doctor to get a shot. She says, "Don't worry, this won't hurt a bit," and then gives you the most painful shot you ever had. A few weeks later, you go to the dentist for a checkup. He starts to put a mirror in your mouth to examine your tooth and says, "Don't worry, this won't hurt a bit." Even though you know the mirror won't hurt you, you jump out of the chair and run screaming from the room. When you went to get a shot, the words, "This won't hurt a bit," became a conditioned stimulus. When they were paired with pain of the shot, the unconditional stimulus, which was followed by your conditional response of getting out of there. And that's classical conditioning. On the other hand, operant conditioning explains how consequences lead to change in voluntary behavior. But how does operant conditioning work? There are two main components in operant conditioning: reinforcement and punishment. Reinforcement makes it more likely that you will do something again, while punishers make it less likely. Reinforcement and punishment can be positive or negative, but this doesn't mean good and bad. Positive means the addition of a stimulus, like getting a dessert after you finish your veggies. And negative means the removal of a stimulus, like getting an eye of no homework because you did well on an exam. Woohoo!